You cool, I'm cool. You cool, I'm cool. You cool, I'm cool. We coolin' out. You cool, I'm cool. You cool, I'm cool. You cool, I'm cool. We coolin' out.
Yo, welcome back to Coolin' Out.
Kev.
Yeah, Rel, we're back.
We are back.
It's been a while, but we're back.
Back.
So we're here this week. Actually, we're gonna make up for it though.
Mm-hmm.
We got a legendary guest with us, the legendary Alex Morgan,
How's it going?
magician and mentalist.
These are facts.
Welcome.
Welcome, man. What's up?
How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of
Let
course.
me set you up a little bit. You have
Yeah.
to move you.
Oh, do you want me to?
Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah,
exaggerating.
just put this right there.
You really want to have
Yeah,
it.
then you just want to get up on that thing, just like that. Don't be afraid of the mic now.
All right. So like
There you go, right
Yeah.
there. But yeah. So what's up, man? Tell people about yourself.
Well, not much. My name's Alex. I'm a magician and mentalist from the beautiful state of New Jersey. Never so much applause on that part. No. I'm a college student by day, and by night I go out and I perform. I'm in community college still. I'm studying business administration, and I got this idea ever since I was in like middle school, and I really got interested in performing. Where I'm like, I don't want a desk job. I want to perform, but I want to do it the financially right way. So I decided I'm going to study marketing or something in the business or financial realm, just so I can save money on getting an agent and everything and marketing and
Yeah.
Yeah, and just a quick backstory of how you got here. Alex and I connected when I found myself at an upscale party at Sparta, New Jersey last month. That you were hosting a gig.
I was performing there. Yeah,
You were performing.
it was a 2-day event. It was the first ever 2-day event I was at. It was like performing at a music festival, except only a tiny bit less exciting, just a tiny bit. So
Yeah. So how long have you been practicing magic, or?
on a professional scale, almost 8 years now, but in all overall, let's see, some math. 17 years. 17 years. I got my first magic set when I was 4, and I was hit with what a lot of magicians call the magic bug, and fell in love with it. And then when I got into 7th grade, I'm like, I'm starting to see that people are starting to love this and everything, and I decided from that point I wanted to transition from it being a hobby into a career.
You're very soft-spoken, Alex.
Why, thank you.
Yeah. No, but like really, like for the recording, you gotta just talk up just. A little more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cause I can hear you,
Right, they can.
but these levels ain't hearing you.
Oh, is this better? That looks better.
Yeah, that looks better right there. So yeah, first magician set at 4.
Mm-hmm.
You just been hooked ever since. Like,
Oh, yeah.
You just knew. Like, what about magic excites you?
Just, it's the reactions that I get from people. Like, I love whenever I'm performing something, and just at the end I'm like, is this your card? Or, I'm saying like, your mother's maiden name is Jacobson, or any of these things, and people, they're just like, holy crap, that was amazing, and they just get this big smile on their face, and it's really the smile that is what I love about magic. So it's just that power that I can make people smile and laugh. So
That's cool.
What's your first act of note that you remember getting that kind of reaction?
oh man, like I said, I was doing magic for quite some time. But back when I was in 7th grade, there was this girl that I liked. I'm not going to say her name, just in case she's listening. And she's like, I knew it, So let's call her, I don't know, Sarah. Let's go with Sarah.
Okay.
So I was showing Sarah a card trick once, and she just had the biggest ear-to-ear smile when I was like, is this your card, or whatever I did with it. And I'm like, actually, it was after that smile, she said, so are you a magician? Are you a professional magician or something? And I'm like, yeah. So thanks, Sarah. Because of you, I'm now doing this professionally.
Yeah. A lot of great ideas are inspired by
women. Yeah, I was just about to say.
Try to impress someone. You be like, well, actually, I am this. then you just go out and do it. The mentalist part, though.
Yeah.
Explain what that even is.
I mean, the most black and white generic way to describe mentalism is mind reading.
Okay.
But like, that's just like a blanket statement. Like, it goes into like this whole realm of like being able to read minds, or give the illusion that you could read minds, because ethics. So give the illusion that you could read minds, or predict the future or manipulate matter, like bending spoons. I think you saw me bending spoons at that event. So
Yeah.
like bending spoons or causing a book of matches to combust without you touching it. All sorts of crazy things like this.
Wait, what do you mean ethics? Magicians have ethics?
Well, yeah, it is kind of ironic. No, back in like the 70s and the 80s, mentalism had like a really big spike in popularity. Like all these late night talk shows, they would have mentalists come on, and there quite a few of these guys, they would claim they were born with these supernatural powers, or aliens gave them powers, like BS statements like this and everything. And there's this magician, James Randi, or as he goes by, the Amazing Randy, and he's like, I think you guys are full of crap, and I'm going to challenge you guys. And he has this challenge where if you could prove your psychic power or your supernatural power without the use of talking to people beforehand or using strings or whatever it be, he will give them $1 million. I believe it's $1 million. I could be wrong on that, but it's a pretty nice sum of money that could pay for me to go to Harvard. Harvard, if you guys are listening, I'm looking for a scholarship. So, but yeah, ever since then, I've been, I don't want to say afraid, but I don't want to ever cross that line of, where he'll catch wind of me, and I'm like, oh, at first, oh my God, James Randi caught wind of me, and then, oh no, he knows about me, So I never want to cross into that realm. So if anyone ever comes up and they're like, can you really read minds? I'm like, it's up to you to decide, So it keeps the mystery alive, but at the same time, it gets me, away scot-free. So.
Gotcha. Do you explain any of your tricks? Or is it just like all of it's a secret?
It's I'm sorry to say, it's all a secret. There is this one thing that I do where I used to have it in my stage show, and I would perform this trick, and at the end I'd break the magician's code and reveal exactly how I did it. But there's a catch. It's like just right after they thought they knew how I did it, I fool them again. What happens is I take an egg. I take a handkerchief and I put it into my fist and it turns into an egg, and the handkerchief travels into my pocket, and I show everyone it's a fake egg. They can even touch and feel it and everything. And then I'm like, all right, so this is how the trick works. This is how you're gonna do backstage and blah blah blah. And then this time around, when I'm putting the handkerchief in my hand, the egg is there, and they're like, oh yeah, I do that part and everything. And I'm like, but here's the catch, and I make this funny statement, like, if there's anyone ever behind you, you're not going to do well with this because they're going to see the egg in your hand, but if that ever happens, don't worry, you just snap your fingers, and then the hole that I was stuffing the egg into, I peel it off. I peel the hole off, and then I take a glass, and I say the magic words, Rocky Balboa. I crack the egg, and it opens up and turns into a real egg. Try and think about that one.
I don't honestly. I'm not trying to sound stupid. I don't think I have the mental capacity to understand that shit. I'm like trying to follow the shit in my head. I'm like, yeah, you lost me after the fake egg part.
In a good way, like confused, or like, can you repeat the question?
Nah, just general confusion.
I'm doing my job, and I'm just like going off of memory here. That's awesome.
What are some tricks you're proudest of?
Oh man. It's one that I've been doing ever since I was a freshman in high school, but it really didn't have an impact until back in September when I met my girlfriend. Technically I knew her, but I didn't really know her well.
Mm-hmm.
I perform magic in restaurants, and she caught wind that I was performing in a restaurant, and she came to see me perform there, and I was showing her this trick, and we just have that connection.
Yeah,
right
little
there.
Ladies, man.
I know. Like,
yeah, I do my magic, get these women going crazy. Okay, Alex.
Some magicians pull rabbits out of hats. I pull romantic relationships or potential romantic relationships out of my hat.
I thought he was gonna say condoms, but good job, man.
That's my wallet.
Okay.
But it's this. Calling it a trick is like saying, like, Beethoven or Kanye or any of these guys have a few good tunes. Like, it's a work of art. This
My
is
apologies.
a magical illusion.
I didn't mean to offend you.
No. You didn't understand. Don't worry. It's me. I take a deck of cards. I actually give it to someone, like, shuffle it up, they take the card, and we go through this whole thing, and in the end, I give them the deck of cards to place into their hands.
Is this one of the tricks
I saw this on your
witnessed you
Instagram.
do? Yes.
Oh, you
I
saw,
saw-
you
I
saw
saw
it on
your
my
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah, I
oh,
saw this one. But still explain, though.
Instagram plug party. If you guys want to follow me, it's at Alex Morgan Live. ALEXMORGANLIVE. Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat.
We're
Am I
about
allowed
to become
be-
your agent.
Oh, okay.
Don't you worry.
Okay, all right.
We're about to become your agent. Watch. We'll.
But yeah, you could catch the video of me performing it in a clothing store that I buy from near my house, and it's pretty cool. You place the deck of cards into their hand. I'm like miles away from this deck of cards, so no one can accuse me of anything. I snap my fingers, they open their hand, and it's a solid block of glass. And just watching her, just when I met my girlfriend, I was just watching her, and she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "You're the one." So, so it was that magical moment there. That's why it's my favorite trick. It's the sentimental value, not the. Well, I guess it could be the performance value because it does get some crazy.
You are quite the
reactions.
romantic.
I am.
If you had to estimate off the top of your head, how many tricks do you know? Not tricks, sorry.
Yes.
Don't worry,
No,
don't worry.
what's the word you just said?
Work?
It's a piece of art. or
Okay, yeah, it's fine.
magic.
I don't want to disrespect your
No,
craft.
no, don't worry. It's cool.
No,
It's cool.
I know it's cool, but I still don't want to disrespect your craft. How many pieces of magic do you think that you like? Can you perform? Like,
Oh man, like, are we talking like?
It's like
What's in your
you have
arsenal,
X
get the
amount of
guess?
time.
Yeah.
Give us a full showcase.
Oh man, like I could probably put on like a 4 or 5 hour show, easily. 4 or 5 hours. Long.
Easily?
Yeah, easily.
Is that typical for a magician?
Oh
or-
god, no. 'Cause,
What's the
like,
typical? Is that more or less?
Oh, extremely more. Like,
Okay. Talk your shit.
The believe me, I would love to be on stage for 5 hours, and everyone I know they're like, yeah, "That sucks." Like the stage lights. I'm like, it's something that I love, you know. So,
I see your passion when you're speaking.
oh, but it's radiating.
Good, man.
But no, for me, at least my show is like 45 minutes to an hour, and that's about the average for magicians. But like a few really big name guys, like for instance Copperfield, his show I believe is 3 hours long.
What would you like your ideal show to be? Obviously, you know all these tricks, but if you had to put it together and
You know,
pace it,
For me, I'm not your stereotypical magician because like every magician is like, oh, I can't wait to make it big and perform in Vegas. For me, I honestly could care less about Vegas. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If I got a phone call from like any casino owner on the Strip tomorrow, I'd be out of here like that. You know.
Don't forget about us.
Oh, I won't. Don't worry. Free tickets, free front row tickets. Don't worry. The ideal way that I want to go is yeah.
no, I wasn't even thinking place.
Oh.
Silly on me. I was thinking more like length of.
Oh, the length of a show.
Yeah.
Oh, for me, like,
but place too.
well, I mean, in terms of length, I'm pretty sure until the end of my career, 45 minutes to an hour is perfect. But if I start to really pick up like a following, then I'd say totally at most 2 hours. So like 90 minutes, 2 hours long is perfect for me.
Okay.
But no, going on to what I originally thought you said, if that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
The ideal place for me to perform is actually, I always like seeing magic in unusual places. Like, and that's kind of like what I like about life. Like, you'll be in like a really dingy neighborhood, and then you just see like a flower growing out of the sidewalk type of thing. Like, you're not expecting it. It's really nice. It's really beautiful. And it was just, I guess you could say, without sounding cheesy and cliche, it's magical seeing something like that. So for me, my ideal place to perform is one of 3 places aside from Vegas, because, you know, I mean, like I said, not Vegas, but you know what I said before.
Yeah.
The first one is kind of contradictory. There's this touring show called The Illusionists. They're in New York like every winter for like a 6-week performance. That's a show that I want to perform in. They tour the world. But you know, lately I've been focusing on the fact that like I realized something. I'm young, you know.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
Oh yeah, you're young as shit, man.
I actually, speaking of that, I'm not even kidding. Same birthday as Houdini. I was literally meant to do this.
Destiny.
Born today.
March 24th. But no, like I was realizing I'm young, and I want to, capitalize on that. So like something I like to do as a person is I love going to concerts. I think I was telling you about that, Kevin. So I'm actually going to be seeing Deadmau5 in September. I might be seeing Drake soon.
Hey.
So I was like excited. I got a Ticketmaster thing. I'm like, oh man, Drake, gotta go.
You have to kiss up to us. Big points. I bet.
So, but yeah, my ideal place is like one thing I hate when I go to a concert is they have. I'm not insulting the performer, but you go and see a band that not many people know about or isn't as liked as the main performer. So I'm thinking, something that would be cool is if I went and I was the opening act for a band or a musician that I like to see or a producer that I like to see. And it wouldn't be like cheesy, like, hey guys, I'm going to do a card trick now. It's going to be like, I have the whole thing planned in my head. It's going to be like, picture like Ultra Music Festival meets David Copperfield. Like that's the only way I could describe it. It's going to be done to music. It's going to be high energy and everything. And if you could just look into my mind, that's the only way I could say it. It's going to look awesome if it ever does, when it happens, because optimism.
I think we'll talk off of Wax, but I think this would be like something perfect for like the warehouse event we went to for NYC Grind.
Oh yeah.
Remember they had like different booths of like so basically there's this group called New York City Grind, and they host these like massive warehouse events once a week. They came on the podcast a couple of times.
Okay.
And they have like different booths set up of like different artists. Like they'll have someone over here selling paintings, someone over here getting tattoos, and someone's on stage rapping or singing. Like it's all like this one big art fest. I think that'd be pretty cool. Like for you to have like a little booth, people walk over there and do your little magic tricks. Like, have people there high as fuck or drunk, so they'll be so
crowd.
amused by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll talk off Wax more about the details, but I just wanted to get that out there. Wow, it was fresh in my head.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Sounds like a cool idea. And as much as I'd love to say this is an original idea, credit where credit is due. There's a magician out in Nashville, originally from Vegas, now in Nashville, by the name of Justin Flom. And a few years ago, he do you guys know the country band Florida Georgia Line? I know Crunchy.
I do.
Like, oh, you do? Okay.
I do. Because I lived in North Carolina for 3 years.
Oh, so.
Yeah, I went to
an
all-white school. You learn these things after a while.
I live in North Jersey. Like I live in the most northernmost part called Sussex County.
Oh yeah, I know this.
And like, don't get me wrong, it's a really nice scenic place and everything. Believe it or not, it still counts as the New York metropolitan area. Like I told Kevin that, he's like, "You're full of crap." No. Everyone up there thinks they're in like South Carolina or Georgia, and I'm like, no. Like everyone's like, I went to school, like high school with people. Everyone's walking through the hallways with like camo, but not like the cheesy. It's like mossy oak hunting camo, and they have modded pickup trucks and everything.
Oh,
that
dear
have
New York City's right there. You could just see it.
it's like
you could
like
see
it's
it.
a stone's throw away, and it's like all we ever heard. Like whenever we'd have an assembly or something, at least one country song would play because that's the demographic area. It's like, oh my god, everyone loves this.
Wow.
But no, anyways, back to the original Justin Flom. He opened up for Florida Georgia Line before they'd come on stage, and it's like, think about like you go to see a band or a musician or whatever, and then some person that you could really care less about. And again, no insult to anyone that's ever been an opening act, just comes out on stage. You're like, yeah. But if a magician comes out on stage, you're like, all right, this is pretty interesting. Even if you don't like magic,
it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Unexpected.
Yeah.
And like he did some really interesting stuff. Like he didn't do like the traditional like, oh, we're gonna do a cool card trick. Like he did a card trick, I remember, but it was pretty cool. Like he started off with a card trick, and in the end, he had their card turn into 2 front row tickets. And he was out in the audience doing this. He had a camera with him, and he was just like, he took the card, he placed it into his mouth, and then he pulled the card out, and it was now, and he showed his mouth was empty. 2 front row tickets for the couple he was just performing. He was like, guys, you get to come up to the front of the stage now and everything. And he did really cool stuff like that. So
That's
like,
cool as shit.
That's the inspiration as to like what I'm going for. I'm not gonna be stealing his stuff, don't worry.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I'm like, I like that intimate yet in the same time public setting of performing.
Yeah.
So,
How do you go about one? Like, is there like a magic school? Like, it sounds like a stupid question, but like, is there a school for magicians? How do you guys like get training and practice and all that stuff?
I mean, it really just depends on your location. Like, there's this competition called FISM, which they actually just had, and it's been nicknamed the Olympics of Magic. And there's this one performer there, Shin Lim, who has won at least once. I know that for a fact. In fact, he's currently on America's Got Talent.
Wow.
He started magic, and like all magicians insult, like, oh, I bet you learned that on YouTube. He literally started his magic passion just by learning how to do easy card tricks on YouTube. And, you know, he started doing it, and he was performing more and more. And then he heard through the grapevine about like these magic competitions and everything, and other places to learn. But yeah, and he's like one of the biggest names in magic right now. But your thing about magic school, there is a magic school. It's there. To my knowledge, there are 3 magic camps, not schools per se, but camps.
Okay.
Summer camps. I actually attended one of them. There's one up in Connecticut, Canada. I think it's Vancouver, called Sorcerer's Safari Magic Camp. There's one down in Texas. I can't remember what that one's called, but the OG, which started the whole magic camp trend, which I'm proud to say I went, is a place out in Bryn Mawr, at Bryn Mawr College for once a week.
Where's that at? New Jersey?
Right outside of Philly.
Okay.
It's called Tannen's Magic Camp, and Tannen's Magic Shop is located here. It's actually in Midtown, across from the Empire State Building. Oldest magic shop in New York City, 1925. They survived the Great Depression. Like, the fact that like a hobby niche like business like that could survive the biggest financial disaster.
I didn't know there was a magic shop.
Me
Oh,
either.
man.
In New York.
If like whether you're a beginner or a pro, like I have met so many famous magicians in there. Like, you guys know David Blaine, right?
Yes.
I haven't met David Blaine, but I have met practically everyone that's worked for him on his team in there. Aussie Wind is one of his guys. I met him in there once. What's his name? Doug McKenzie. I met him in there actually the day before my 19th birthday. He was in there, and I'm like, Doug? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, you're Doug McKenzie. Holy crap. So, and he's like, there's the most down-to-earth people.
I mean, what does a magician's team do?
Well, like in like big talks, like on TV, like David Blaine, or dare I say Chris Angel. Magicians, we don't really like to say Chris Angel that much.
Why?
Like back when he did, like, not that I'm like from what I've heard, he's a great person. He's a really nice, down to earth guy.
You're about to shit on from what I heard.
No, Chris, if you're watching, I'm sorry, man. Like, but as a performer,
People tell me.
there have been accusations that he's stolen material from other magicians, and like these are things that were like copyrighted performances, and he just took it and everything. And he's unethical. He would lie to his audience. He'd go up to people and be like, "We never met before, right?" And they're like, "No." And on 3 different occasions, I saw this video once. I can't remember what it was called, but it was 3 different occasions. He went up to this group of people and he's like, "We've never met before, right?" And they're all like, "No." And he's like, he asked this woman, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna levitate you now," and everything. And like in all the videos, they could show these things, and then he's asking like, "Oh, here's like we're in this place and everything, and these aren't actors and everything." And with the way the whole thing was set up, like you could see through, like, there's something in magic called flashing, where let's say I was doing a card trick and you saw me do something that you weren't supposed to see,
Yeah.
which kind of reveals the method. I'm not going to point out what Chris did, but there was a video from Mind Freak where you could see through this street illusion that he was doing, like literally. I know I said I wasn't going to say it, so I'm going to be as vague as possible. He walked through a solid object, and
No, go ahead.
okay, he walked through this solid object, and you could clearly see it was like a machine thing. Like you could see how, like if you looked closely, you could see a split right down the middle, and the thing bent outwards, so he could like walk through when he was covered up and everything. So,
Sorry.
but anyways, no. Like back to the original thing though about like a magician's team. It's pretty much like a whole movie production. Like because magicians, especially when they get to be really big and famous, they're under, you know, the wire. Like if you're with like a TV company like NBC, you sign a contract with the NBC or ABC, and they're like, look, for like the next 10 years, like at least every 2 years, we want you to release a magic special, you know, and you don't want to go out and you know, do things that you see like any magician on TV doing, or if you know, a very stereotypical magic trick. So a magician recruits a whole team of other magicians. Sometimes it's one magician, sometimes it's up to like as many as they want, and they'll work together with him or her or them on, you know, the next on this trick or illusion that they're going to be doing in their show. Like this guy, Aussie Winge, that I mentioned earlier, I don't remember if he created it for David Blaine or he was doing it and he's like, hey, this would look cool in the special. Back in 2013, David Blaine did a special, and if you go onto YouTube and you look up like David Blaine Will Smith magic trick or something, he was doing this card trick where he had Will take a card, and then, you know, he shuffled the deck back into like this weird face up, face down mishmash thing, and he had him, he fanned out the cards. He said, Will, hold on to the cards like this, and he borrowed Jaden's phone, and he took a picture of Will's hand, and his entire family was there, no camera editing or anything, and he gave him back the phone, and remember how I mentioned all the cards were like all, you know, fucked up, basically?
Yeah.
In the picture, the entire deck went back to normal, and the only card that was in reverse was Will Smith's card. So it was pretty cool, and this is something that Aussie Win made. Like, again, I don't know if he was like, hey, David, this would be a cool idea. Most probably, because I believe he released it to other magicians to perform around the time that the special came out. So, yeah, that answered the question.
Yeah. So how much time do you spend like practicing like tricks and not tricks?
No, don't worry.
No.
If it makes you feel any better, I call them tricks too.
Okay.
So
Magical arts. That's
magical
what I said.
arts. Ooh, I like it. Well, it really depends. I mean, when I'm on off season, like when I'm off from school, like the summer right now, pretty much the second I wake up to the second I go to sleep is just spent just sitting down, coming up with new ideas for things that I could perform. Like I'd be like, oh, like for example, like just throwing it out there, like what would it be cool if like I took a coin and I held it in my hand like this, and I opened my hand, the coin vanished and reappeared in someone's pocket like that. And like, that would be cool. Now how do we go through doing that? And I just go through this whole trial and error thing. Like I have like a dozen notebooks in my room of just me writing down stuff. Like, okay, how could I do this? And I have so much footage of me on my phone of me just performing it, where it's like I'm at the point where my phone's running out of space because I have so many videos of me just trying out different ideas of how it would work.
Is your
So-
girlfriend usually the first person you test these things on?
Surprisingly, no.
No.
It's usually like I'll if it's something quick and visual, I'll film it for my Instagram story, and I'll see how it works. Like if I see like a lot of people are like messaging me, being like, "Oh my god, that was so cool!" I'm like, I think I got something. And then I go into the family and friends area, and I'm like, hey, what do you guys think of this now that this is in person? Like, maybe you could have just worked on Instagram because it could be like dubbed like a camera trick or something. But if it passes the personality test that I like to call it, like in person, I'm like, I think we're onto something, you know? So.
Currently, who are like 3 of the biggest magicians alive?
Now, I'm going to be a bit precise here. When you say magicians, do you mean like the whole spectrum of magic, like mentalism and illusions and everything? Okay. In my opinion, I want to say the biggest names in the field at the moment are Shin Lim, the guy that I just mentioned a moment ago, who's on American.
Sorry, and my criteria is obviously success, acclaim, and actual skill. That's my criteria.
Oh, wait, what?
Success, acclaim, and skill.
Like, in my opinion, or?
Yeah, your opinion. He's
Oh,
just
in my
So the
opinion.
skill would be your opinion, but like the success and the acclaim
By
would be
like
noticeable.
a general
Yeah.
vote type thing. I mean, totally Shin Lim. Like, pretty much any time there's a magician on America's Got Talent, they have everyone's attention for the entire summer. NBC, if you guys are watching, I'm ready for you guys, by the way. Just hit me up. But no, yeah, Shin Lim, I definitely want to say he's definitely hot right now. And I honestly wish him the best of luck for the rest of his days. Copperfield, he's a timeless classic. Like, even though he really was big back in the 80s and 90s, to this day, everyone still talks about like the stuff he did.
Mm-hmm.
And
Why?
Just because like he did some really insane original stuff. Like, actually here in New York, he made the Statue of Liberty disappear. He brought
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah,
you
he
can't
brought-
just drop that and move on.
Yeah, I mean, I think technically it's my home, New Jersey, because that's where the statue is. It's in our waters, so hey.
It actually is.
It is.
But we don't tell people that.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
we're
you
gonna
guys didn't
scrub
hear
that
any
in
of that.
post.
Yeah. But yeah, he had a bunch of people, I think, over in New Jersey on Ellis Island or something,
Mm-hmm.
and he performed like his whole magic and illusion show and everything. But his grand finale was, he's like, "See the Statue of Liberty? I'm gonna make it disappear," and everyone is sitting in this theater, this open air theater, and all he does is he just takes like this big, like 50, 60 foot curtain. He drops it for like a second, 2-3 seconds. He pulls the curtain down. The statue is no longer there, and he had like helicopters shining spotlights through it and everything. It was pretty cool. That's like a timeless thing. You
Well,
know?
Wait,
when
I
you
gotta
see
find
these
that on
tricks, you obviously know what goes into a lot of them. Do you know how he did that?
I mean, not really, because like everyone's like, "Oh, you're a magician, you know everything," and I'm like, it's like going to a doctor and saying like, "Oh, you know how every field of medicine works." It's like, no, I'm like a general physician. I can tell you a tiny bit about everything, you know.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't talk to a magician.
Kev, way
every
too
day.
excited about this shit.
Yeah,
Sorry,
right, I got
he's
too-
like, I'll
I
talk
got
magicians
too
off.
deep.
What-
What
too
are
deep.
like three things you've seen where you just like shocked you, like you didn't know it was possible. You have no idea how this person pulled it off.
Like, it's, I mean, Copperfield, when I saw his, I was like 10 or 11 when I saw it, because my uncle was telling me, he's like, you like magic, you should really watch what Copperfield did back in the 90s. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I went and I watched it, I'm like, oh my God, that was amazing. I haven't seen it since then, but just that, and I kind of don't want to see it again, because I love that childlike wonder that I had, like, whoa. And I just want to remember it like that forever. But one thing that, even though I do know how it was done, it was still in the moment and the presentation that just blew my mind. My favorite magician, Steve Cohen, who actually performs at the Lot Palace in Midtown, magic show in a hotel. That's another thing I was trying to say. I like when you're talking about ideal performances. Another ideal performance I have is in like a small, intimate space, like like a hotel room where it's like rented out for the evening, and I just perform for a group of people in there. Just that really cool thing. But anyways, going back to what I was originally saying, no, in his show he does this thing where he comes in, or rather you come into the show, he knows nothing about you, he doesn't have access to tickets or Facebook or anything, and you write down, he gives you a card and it says, what's your name, and write 3 facts about yourself. So I wrote down, my name's Alex, I recently went on a trip to Brazil. It was my first trip outside the country. I am also a magician, and I am learning how to speak Korean, which, on a side note, I will say I'm not making much progress with. But keep in mind, this was back in like 2015. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say that, especially with like North Korea tensions and everything. Like, ooh, it was before all that, I promise.
Okay.
But no, I remember what he did. It was, because I didn't have a second to think about it. He took all the cards. In fact, he didn't even touch it. He had someone place all the cards into the box. Now, this is the part that I'm still trying to figure out. He placed it in this box, and he took a little school classroom bell. He placed it on top of it. So he said, if I ever open this box, you'll definitely hear me, because the bell will ring. And the box was on like the other side of the room, and he starts going through, and he's like, you play soccer, and your jersey number is 28. Your favorite ice cream flavor is mint chocolate chip, and like, is it mint chocolate chip? No, that would have been weird though. That would have been. But
I like it, but it's not.
no one hates on it though, But he goes through like this. It's a good flavor. It's a classic.
Well, let him have it. Go ahead.
But he goes through like this like whole thing, and he got to me at this point, And he said, he pointed to me, he's like, "You young man," because I was 18 at the time, and technically I still look very young. So
Yeah, I had no idea you were 21.
I mean, don't tell NJ Transit, but I'm thinking about getting the child discount on the trains. Oh yeah, I got to shave this part. That doesn't help. So I take it back what I said, NJ Transit, if you're listening. But no, please note that was a joke. Don't have me arrested, NJ Transit.
You'll be all right.
But no, he pointed to me. He's like, "Young man," and he pointed to this other guy that was halfway across the room. This guy and I never met before. We never spoke. He's like, "When I count to 3, I want you guys to say your names out loud. 1, 2, 3." We both said Alex, and I was like, "Alex, holy shit!" Like just instantly, I'm like, "Oh my god!" And yeah, that was something that blew my mind. And my favorite mentalist, when he finally came to America last summer, he did something similar, but like it was like 1,000 times more hard to figure out and impossible. Before he came on stage, like he had a card, Darren Brown. It wasn't even him. He had the people in the theater hand out the cards, and it was like, "What's your name? When were you born?" And it was what's your favorite memory, or what's something that what's your occupation? And on the back, it was like, it's like, write a big secret that you have that you wouldn't want anyone to know. And I'm like, okay, this is juicy. I trust you, Darren Brown, who reads minds. Yes. So I wrote down that my family, I come from a family of undertakers. My dad's a funeral director. Mm-hmm. It's been like that ever since they came to America back in the 1800s. So I wrote down, my parents don't know this, but I'm not going to be continuing on in the family business. Like I filled out everything else. I didn't even hand it to him. They took it, they placed it in this big clear salad bowl at the front of the stage, and he came on stage in the second act, and he blindfolded himself, like with like medical gauze, like his whole face was blindfolded, and he just started like grabbing these things, and they were sealed in envelopes again, and he's just like holding it above his head, making a fist, crumpling it up. He's like, "I'm predicting that there's someone in the audience whose initials are AM, and they're sitting in row J," and I'm like, "This can't be happening." And I'm like, "Hi." And then he goes, "Okay, I want to sense that your name is Alexander, but you don't go by Alexander, you go by Alex. Am I correct?" I'm like, yeah. Okay, this is cool. And then he goes, "Okay, you were born, I want to say you're about 20, 21 years old." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm 20. And he's like, "Okay, good." And on the card, I wrote my occupation as a student. And there has to be some logical answer behind this, but I can't remember. But I wrote down, I'm a student. I study business. And he goes, "I sense you're a business student and everything." And I'm like, yeah. Because I wrote it on the card and everything. I'm still amazed because like he's blindfolded and he didn't open the envelope and everything. I'm still like, okay, yeah. And then he goes, "But you don't want to go into like any business position, not primarily." And I'm like, "No." He's like, "I sense that you want to be a lawyer, correct?" And I'm like, holy shit, yes, I do want to be a lawyer. If magic doesn't work out, I want to go into the law field. So I'm like, yeah. And he goes, "But hang on, you have a secret." And I'm like, oh fuck. My dad is sitting right next to me. And he's like, "I sense that on top of the fact that you want to be a lawyer, this is obviously a given, but your family doesn't know that you won't be, that you'll stop continuing in the family industry." And I'm like, yeah. And I didn't write this down on the card. And to this day, I don't know. Maybe it was something my dad wrote down that was a tip-off. He's like, "Your family's industry is funeral directing, the mortuary field." I'm like, holy shit, yes. And my dad is he's not even mad. He's like, what the fuck is happening? So, and it was like, I'm like, oh my God, like to this day, it's like, even though I kind of have a tiny idea as to how it was done, it still is like, it keeps me up at night. So, does that answer your question for what's an amazing thing that I once saw? So, but yeah, that's, oh man, now you're making me think about it again.
So, you said if magic doesn't work out, then law.
Yeah.
You seem so passionate about magic. What about law would even intrigue you?
I mean, and like, here's the thing. I'm pushing law off until like I'm 129% sure magic isn't going to work out for me. You know, like if I'm 50 and I'm still only performing magic in restaurants, I'm going to be like, okay, you know what? It's one thing to do this as a hobby now, but I think we really need to work, you know? But until that day comes.
Valid.
Yeah, Children's Party.
What really inspired me to go into law is I was actually bullied a lot throughout middle and high school, and it got to a point my senior year where I was having a great time in high school. There were a few things here and there, but nothing major. But it was this one thing where this teacher that I had, who will remain nameless, didn't say anything about an anti-Semitic slur that was made about me in class. With that being said, it goes without saying I have Jewish in my family. And it was at this time in high school I was failing a class that I was doing very well in. It was just like overnight, just boom, 56. I'm like, this is unlike me. So it goes without saying that really upset me and that ruined my day. And then he starts, we were reading Scarlet Letter, and our teacher's like, okay, we're going to be wearing our own scarlet letters for a bad habit that you have to break, like A for if you're absent a lot in class, or S if you swear a lot in school. And it's like easy 100, you wear that. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I'm thinking, like, what could I do? Like, all right, I come to class late, so maybe an L, but I never take L's. Okay. Okay, there we go. But no, I'm sitting there in class, and across the room I hear it's dead quiet, like, because we're writing down things that we're planning on giving up for this project. He says, hey, Alex, you should wear a Star of David like the Jews had to wear in the Holocaust. And everyone knows I'm Jewish, so it wasn't like a joke. And I'm like, and I just looked at him, and I'm like, dude, I'm not having it today. I'm just not having a good day. Now, before this, he was a friend. And if I ever, like, I bust my friends' balls all the time, but if they ever tell me, like, I'm not having it, I'll just, like, okay, I'm sorry, and I step away, you know. But
I don't touch Holocaust jokes.
it's, like,
That's
even
too
that
serious.
is, like, still, like,
That's just too.
you know.
Limits.
But he does this and everything, and he says something again. I hear him say the words Alex and June. I say, you want to repeat that again? Because it's dead quiet. And keep in mind, my teacher is like 3 feet away from him at her desk. He goes, oh, I said that being that you're a Jew, you have to wear the colors yellow and blue or blue and white. And then this other kid chimes in whose mom is a teacher at the school, and he goes, yeah, you know, Israel, like where Jews come from. And I remember there was this one girl in my class who never liked me for whatever reason. I never said anything to her, but she was one of those stereotypical folk that wear the mossy oak and drives those big pickup trucks. Like, it was hot, you know? But she just looked at me, and, like, I had this look on my face where I'm like, I can't believe you're actually saying this. Like, I just had, like, this look on my face, and she goes, oh. I'm like, oh, you're a bitch, you know? And I wasn't thinking when I said this, but I just said, I'm not going to say the guy's name, but let's just call him Josh. I'm like, Josh, shut the hell up. Yeah. And my teacher heard me, and she goes, what did you say? And have you ever had like a moment where you say something, but your brain didn't have a chance to process it?
Yeah.
So she said, excuse me. And in that moment, I said, you're excused. And I'm like, oh shit, why should I say that? So I'm expecting her to be like, all right, let's talk in the hallway, or detention, or at the very least, which is not justified, but whatever, suspension. Any of these things are going through my head. She does something 1,000 times worse. She takes a spray bottle, and she comes up to me, and she starts spraying me in the face, spraying me in the hair, and then she grabs my shirt and pulls it back and starts spraying me down the back. Everything, and the entire class is laughing. And you know how people are nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but it could have very well happened. Someone whipped open their phone. They could have started like filming me, and it could be saved on their phone. You know, anything can happen. And I'm thinking in this moment, I'm like, I could do one of two things. I could either laugh this off, or I could run out of the room crying, because I'm not going to hide my masculinity. I was literally this close to crying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll just laugh it off. Ha ha ha! Oh my God, I'm covered in water, or whatever I said. And yeah, then I went home. My parents were like, well, how was school today? I told them, and I just broke down crying. They called up my guidance counselor, and they called her up, and they're like, look, we heard what happened. This was not cool. And let me just jump this whole thing along to get to the end. I wasn't in class the next day because my guidance counselor wanted to talk to me about the whole ordeal. And she gave, from what I heard, without saying my name, she gave an anonymous tip-off that I'm the reason as she put it, can't have fun in class anymore with the water bottle. And,
Wow.
That she might get fired over this thing. Didn't need to bump the mic.
No, that's cool.
So yeah, it was people at that point, literally, and I'm in college now, and people that I went to high school with, they still see me on campus, and they'll throw me a dirty look, or they'll be like, "Hey, fuck you, you got her fired," and everything. I'm like, are you kidding me? We're in college now.
Yeah.
These guys are going to take it to their graves. I know it. But I remember after about a day or two of this whole thing going on, with people just like throwing death threats at me and everything, I just remember I was driving to school one morning. It was December 11th, 2015. And I remember I was driving to school. I could, if I was driving on my way to school with you guys, I could point at the very spot I was driving past, where just in my head, I don't remember why, my brain was just like, we're going to be a lawyer when we grow up. Because, like, I've always gone through with, like, bullying and everything. And I'm like, it's not cool. My schools have done little to nothing in the past about it. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I want to be a lawyer. And as I thought about it, I'm like, no, yeah. Because the world's not a good place. But if I could be at least one person that's better than the average, that's fine. And if I could also help the world be a better place in that type of way, So, didn't mean to throw it onto a really depressing topic there. But now you know why I want to be a lawyer if magic doesn't work out. So...
You better than me though.
Yeah.
She'd have flew across that room.
Yeah.
This was back in 2015. You said
2015, December 8th, 2015.
Yeah, she'd have been across the classroom. Water bottle.
Yeah, and everyone.
That's some Sussex County shit right there.
Yeah, this wasn't like she definitely had like an in for me because like
Yeah.
she always like insulted me in front of my class. Like I once forgot a paper that I was doing at home. And I have an IEP. I was telling you about this, and your girlfriend was telling me too, and everything. And an IEP, for those that don't know, it's I medically do have diagnosed ADD. So if you have ADD, you could really only focus on one thing at a time. And in this case, it was me focusing on passing this class. So I printed out my paper and I'm like, I got to school, and I remember I opened my bag and like, oh crap, I forgot my project at home. And I'm like, you know what? Let's tell her, maybe she'll be cool. So I went up to her and I'm like, hey, look, I'm so sorry, I forgot my project at home. I understand if you're going to take 10% off or half off, but can I please turn it in tomorrow? Which, by the way, she's not supposed to take 10% off or anything because my IEP, she's supposed to be like, no, it's expected that you're going to do this, don't worry, just don't forget to bring it in tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's what she was supposed to say or something like that. But she goes, no, why should I give you any credit or anything? She made me go up and present my project without any note cards, without any PowerPoint, without anything. And what really pissed me off was it would have been justifiable if she was like, okay, everyone that didn't do their project or forgot it has to present. But she went through the entire classroom and someone's like, no, I don't have my project. And she's like, okay, turn it in tomorrow, 10% off. I'm like, no, you're going to be doing what you did to me. And I remember she was like, I was up there and everything. People were taking pictures of me, and she was just being really rude and disruptive while I was doing my presentation. So we're here to talk about magic. Let's change it.
Yeah.
So,
Brighter note. Yes. What's next for you with magic?
Currently, before the end of the summer, I'm planning on coming back into New York, probably like Midtown or here in the financial district downtown. And I was going to hit up a few restaurants and be like, hey, I do this and everything. And especially here in downtown, when Wall Street closes and everything, I think it would be an awesome way to close the day, especially on a Friday, like the hard week that you have in the financial industry. Just you're there, you're like, hey, it's the weekend, we're going to relax, we're going to have a drink, maybe like an appetizer, and then a magician comes up and they really get the party going, and I start performing and everything, or I was going to also advertise like, hey, let's do a dinner show and everything, and see where it takes me. But mainly at the moment, I'm really trying to grab the attention of music producers and bands, like going on what I was saying before with like the opening of a concert, grabbing their attentions and their managers' attentions. Currently, I'm saying this because if anyone knows anyone, you would greatly help me out. Kygo and his manager Miles Shear, I believe is his name. I'm trying my best to catch their attention without, I mean, I have emailed them in the past, but I want to cool it just so they're like, I don't want to be placed on a block list.
I'm tagging Kygo in every post I put
Please
up.
please do. Retweet at Kygo, you know? But yeah, it would just be like so cool to open up for him because like what I'm wearing right now actually is pretty much like what I'm actually planning on wearing on stage from here on out. Because one thing like I was going on before, like I'm young, let's take advantage of it, you know? I walk on stage in my college show and my gimmick for the college show is who better to entertain college students than a college student?
Yeah.
And I'm looking back at it at my past performances, and I kind of cringe but laugh at the same time. It's like I walk on stage and like that Steve Buscemi meme, like "Good evening, fellow children and kids my age that study in the university college level," and I'm wearing this 3-piece suit. Like if you go onto my website, which I will not be giving out the name, but you'll probably find it through my Instagram, so I'm screwed either way. On the cover of my website, it's me. I wear this blue 3-piece suit and this like maroon tie.
Swag.
It's a nice outfit. Don't get me wrong. But when you're performing for like a group of kids your own age, I walked on stage and they're like, "This kid's in college? Where does he go to school? Like Princeton? Like what?" So, Princeton. If you guys are listening, I'm looking for a scholarship too. So it's
Don't discriminate.
Oh, yeah. Here, you know what? Let me throw you my card so you can get my website.
No, I'll look at it later. I'll get your card after.
But yeah, it's so like I'm trying to go into like the more really designer street clothes thing because like everyone my age, whenever they go out to a party, they put on really nice street clothes and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm probably making everyone that's listening to this cringe because they're like, no one says really nice street clothes. It's just clothes or going out.
I was gonna let you rock.
Yeah, it's the jersey in you.
I'll
No,
just
I
go-
mean like, because here's the thing, like I feel like ashamed because like of my my family's business and everything.
Why?
Well, I mean, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm getting onto the fact, like all I really know, I could tell you everything there is about dress clothing. Like, I could tell you about what a type of, what design of a shoe is, who makes it, the tie, how to tie a tie, how to wear a suit. Like, my brother collects sneakers and everything, and he's like, "Yeah, I just got Yeezys, I just got Jordans," and I'm like, "Yeah, I just got Peter Millar loafers, you know? I know what you're talking about, you know? No."
Yeah.
So, I'm like, I'm trying to, like, wear that, and I'm watching. It's so cringy, but I'm like watching a lot of guys on YouTube and just seeing like what the average like outfit that is casual but at the same time eye-catching is. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'll be honest with you. I've never looked into one on YouTube though, but I have like when I was like your age, like I always knew I wanted to be an attorney. So I used to always like dress like how I thought attorneys should look all the time. Like we used to go out in college, just have like dress shoes on sometimes, like because that's just always what I thought. And now I'm like on the way other side of the spectrum on the weekends. Like I'm like really like trying to find myself and dress how I actually want to dress. But then you just gotta find a nice little balance.
yeah.
Don't be going out here spending all this money on Yeezys, man. You just gotta go out there and be yourself, but you also don't want to be like too buttoned up and too uptight. You know, just gotta be loose. You're 21. Enjoy your life, man.
I know,
Right.
and that's what I'm trying to tell myself because it's like I like the 3-piece suit. In fact, like when you met me, I was wearing like a modern tuxedo because like my dad gave me his tuxedo from like back in the 90s to wear a hand-me-down. I'm like, "Dad, no one wears this anymore." He's like, "Of course they do." And I'm like, "Yeah, if they're 80, they wear it." So I'm like, for my birthday, just get me like a tuxedo. And I showed him the type I wanted. He got it for me. And I'm like, thank God.
Yeah,
So
of course they
I now
do.
wear like that modern, it's like the navy blue or the dark blue with like the black lapel tuxedo. And I'm like, okay, I don't look that weird at black tie events anymore. Cool.
Yeah.
And I used to wear, oh God, I'm screwed if you guys ever find this on Instagram. I used to wear like this Irishman's like cap. I look, I cringe when I think about it too.
No, we all have past. I used to wear
That's
do-rags
true.
and baggy
Oh,
jerseys.
yeah, that's so true.
And like this is when I was
My
like
mother shook her head.
This is when I was like 17, 18, 19 years old. I'd wear this stuff. So I'm like, I must have been born in a time machine because like my whole wardrobe isn't matching up with my age type of thing. I wore that, and I had a like not a bright red, but like this really nice tie, which I still do wear. It's a nice tie, and like this maroon and red pinstriped shirt, and it wasn't even a suit. I wore this brown like houndstooth jacket, and black corduroy, brown corduroys and everything, and I walked on stage looking like that, and I'm like, yeah, everyone's gonna know I'm 19 if it was the 1800s. And like whenever, like, Throwback Thursday, hashtag TBT makes me so uncomfortable because I'm like, oh, damn it, I did all the pictures that I took from that wedding last week. They're really going to have to see my true colors. So, like, I only have, like, 1 or 2 pictures on my Instagram of me from back in the day.
Yeah, that's what you got to do, man. You got to, it's good to refresh your IG sometimes. You got to start over, man. Shut that shit down. You got some things that's too embarrassing that was cool back in the day.
It was never cool. What are you talking about?
Well, not the 1800s.
For me it was, but
yeah. But you came to your senses. That's all that matters.
I have a question. If I'm a venue, why would I want to book you?
Oh, well, because I no longer wear that ridiculous mock 3-piece suit. I forgot to mention I also wore a sweater vest with it too. So yeah, I know I was like Carlton Banks. Like, all I had to do was just this. Sorry, I was watching like a ton of Fresh Prince in the past week. But why would you want to hire me? Well, for starters, I use this to fund my way through college. It's partially me and partially my parents. Luckily, they're like, whatever's more expensive, we'll pay for. So if it ends up at the end of the semester, books are more expensive, they pay that. If at the end it's classes, they pay for classes. But at the end of the day, regardless, I use the money that I make from performing to fund my way through college. So why not, give the stereotype millennials don't want to work. Why not give a millennial that actually does want to work a chance?
But why? Aside from
I'm getting to that.
the goodness of our heart.
Because, like, I don't do these cheesy magic tricks that you see a bunch of magicians, like, do. Not every magician, but a lot of magicians, typically older magicians, doing. And even some guys that I know my age. No offense, guys, I love you, I just think they're kind of cheesy. Like, for me, I hate doing things where it's like I'll pull like a handkerchief out of a hat and it says like happy birthday and there's a rabbit on it. I'm like, oh my God, don't do that. Like, I only like to do things with like things that people are familiar with, like cards and coins or someone's phone or a business card. So you get that, and on top of that, like I said, I'm also a mentalist. So whenever I'm performing, I'll put a spin on something. Like mid-performance, I'll be like, this is your card and everything, but I just want to see, like, if I could just look at your thumbprint on the card. I'm going to say that you were born in like February. You were born in February, weren't you, Drew?
No, yeah, I was.
Yeah, so things like that and everything. By the way, no prior contact between any of us, might I add.
I can attest to that. That is true.
And you get that. It's like, I call it like the fusion restaurant of the entertainment industry, because it's like you can go in and you're expecting Mexican food and French food, but you get a card trick and you get your mind read. So.
Sheesh. Okay.
Is that a good selling point?
That is a good selling point.
Oh, and also, someone once told me I look like Ed Sheeran, which I don't see at all. Is it the red hair? Because, like, if that's all you're looking at, okay. Hey, my girlfriend thinks Ed Sheeran's attractive, so I got that going for me.
There you go, man. Do you have any?
Yeah, one last question. Over the course of 8 years, how have you grown as a magician?
Oh, totally. I mean, I will say, and this is kind of going to be contradictory because it's like a humble brag type of thing, but back then, I was so stuck up as a performer. I wouldn't even want to call myself a performer because no performer should be stuck up. Unless it's their character and like you can kind of see through it, it's just an act. But like I was so like, I'd walk into the room and I'd make sure everyone knew I was there. And I thought I was the best magician around. Like if I'd ever mess up on like a card trick, or I'd be in the middle of reading someone's mind. I'm like, you were born in February. And they're like, no, I wasn't. I'm like, yeah, you were. And I just play it off and everything. I'm like, yeah, you totally were, though. I'm like, this isn't your card. Or they're like, hey, I saw what you did. I'm like, shut up. No, you didn't. Like, back then, I'm like, I know, believe me, if I had a time machine, I'd slap myself in the face. But it just, ever since, like, I once was watching footage, like a compilation of me for performing at an event, and I was watching it, and I just like, I have that cold feeling where I'm like, oh my God, I'm just watching how I'm treating people and everything, and I'm more in the moment. I'm just more focusing on the performance, but I'm saying things, and people are like, "My God," you know. And it's not like I like to bust chops when I perform nowadays, but I do it in like a safe way, so everyone knows that I'm just joking and it's not to be taken seriously. But back then it was like, not that I said anything rude, but just I thought I was like the hottest person around, and like my ego was just through the roof, and it made people uncomfortable. But nowadays, like I said, I'll like bust a joke, and I'll be like, something funny a few weeks ago. I was performing at a restaurant, and this woman, I was saying like I was making like jokes and everything, and I'm like, "You're not from New Jersey, are you?" And she's like, "No, I'm from Tennessee." And I'm like, "Well, welcome to New Jersey. We make fun of people," or whatever I said. And she's like, "You're mean," and everything. And everyone's at the tables like, "Ha! You know, okay, that's hilarious," because New Jersey. But no, yeah. And putting that aside, like back then, it was because like I took the jump too soon. Like I'm like, here's the fine line. Like here's hobby and here's career. And I was like this. I was crossed in the middle, and I would just focus it more on it as a glorified hobby that could make me money. And now I take it seriously. Like I'm like, this is my job. I want to put on the best damn performance I ever have because I want these people to book me again. I want them to recommend me for other events. And you never know, someone at the end of that, you know, connection chain could have that ultimate connection of Kygo and manager Miles Shear that could get me to go on stage. Just putting that out there. So, but yeah, I mean, it's true because like, especially through all my business classes, it's like one of my professors, she's like, networking is a magic word. Keep it in mind. Then we're talking, and she's like, "You're a magician." That's like the ultimate icebreaker. Whenever you go out to a corporate event, even if you're not performing there, just have a deck of cards on you and show them a card trick, or just, you know, do like a mind reading thing that you do. And I'm gonna tell you, I've actually 2 bookings I've had were just from going to like an event like that, and where I put my ego aside and everything. I'm there and I'm talking, and I want to say I was bashful about it, but I just waited for them to be like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" Because back then I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm a magician, I'm a mentalist, I do this, I do that," and everyone's like, "Okay, who invited the pain in the ass?" You know. But I was at an event back in November at Dewey's Pub in Midtown, and I was walking around. It was for startups because one of my friends, he has a startup. By the way, his Instagram, because I'm being a good friend here, it's at Seahorse Live. He does like an underwater drone thing. It's pretty cool. So anyways, he had a free ticket. He's like, "Hey, Alex, do you want to go? I think this would be great." And I'm like, "You just said networking event. You didn't have to say anything else." "Yes, we'll go." And when I was there, I was walking up to people and everything. They're like, "So what do you do? What's your thing?" And I'm telling them, I'm like, "I'm a magician." And I also said, on top of that, I'm also a business/marketing student. So I take my magic and I take my mentalism and everything, and I incorporate it into a way whenever, whenever like a company hires me to, mainly like restaurants and everything, because that's my selling point, is that I incorporate my magic into advertising the restaurant. I'm telling them like, "Yeah, this is what I do." I'll, in the middle of like doing a card trick, or in the middle of reading someone's mind, or whatever it may be, I'll be like, "Hey, check out ABC Company," you know? And they're like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. You're using something that you love, not to mention, and on top of that, you're using something that you're learning in school." And they're like, "That's awesome," and everything. And I'm walking around, and people, I know I said before, I'd always say that when I went in the room. They're like, "Let's get everyone in a circle and let's tell everyone what you do." Some people didn't hear it and everything, so, you know, people were going up and they're like, "Oh, you're a mentalist, that's cool, let's, you know, read my mind and everything." And then on top of that, people that didn't come in, they're like, "Oh, so what do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm actually a magician." I gave the whole spiel again and everything. And this one guy that I met, he's a part of a law firm up in Stamford in Connecticut. And about like a week or 2 after that event, he sent me an email. He's like, "Alex, why can't I remember his name? If he's listening, he's going to be like, it's this name, man. Come on, we hired you." But I can't remember his name, so let's again call him John. He's like, "Hey, it's John from the law firm up in Connecticut. I remember your magic was so cool. and like you read my mind and everything. You told me, you know, my mother's maiden name or whatever. We're having a Christmas party in a few weeks, and we'd love you to be there. And I'm like, Connecticut law firm Christmas party? I will be there, you know? So I went and I performed for him, and then he's doing what I absolutely love, where he makes a recommendation to another partner, and it's not just some other, it's not just like some small town business that he made a recommendation to. He recommended me to Merrill Lynch,
Wow.
Bank of America, and they called me up. They're like, hey, we heard from the law firm that you perform for that you're pretty awesome.
Nice.
We want you to be there and everything. And I got to perform for them at the Stanford Yacht Club, which I'm like, oh man, I'm just looking back at all my teachers that are like, you'll never make it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll never make it. And I took like a selfie in front of like all these sailboats and everything.
That's amazing,
And
man.
I'm like, this is proof that I could do it. And this is proof for many more better things to come.
That's the perfect place to end.
But, you know, before we go, is it cool if I do one thing?
Of course.
So, you know, I wanted to start off with, like a card trick, kind of just to warm up and everything, if that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to be coming away from the mic, so it's going to be a bit hard to hear me. But, Jarrell, do you know how to shuffle a deck of cards?
Do I know how to shuffle?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. Here you go. And I also have this little pad if you want to drop them on there.
Oh, the cards?
Yeah.
Should I shuffle them or no?
Yeah, go right ahead. Shuffle them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yes, please. I'm shuffling cards, people. Look at me. Just one shuffle.
Just one
That's
shuffle.
why you gotta check out the YouTube channel.
Yeah. All right, that'll do.
I mean, you gotta check it out, guys. Come on.
let's see.
Or you could use your imagination.
We're gonna put this down so that they get a full length.
Oh yeah. Spin over here.
Mhm.
Try to get this mic over towards me. So, all right, cool. So, Jarrell, as I go through, tell me when to stop. Whenever you want.
Stop.
Here. Take a look at that card.
Yep.
Kevin, got it? All right, cool. So, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that your card was red, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, here's where it could be a bit interesting, because that was a 50-50 shot that I had, because, you know, there's 26 black cards in the deck and 26 red cards in the deck.
Mhm.
Here's where it's going to get a bit harder, okay? Your card, I'm going to say it was a diamond.
It was.
Now, that was like a bit of that was still 50-50, but if I went right from the start, that would have been 25%. But here's where we're really going to make it interesting. Sorry for all the sniffing. I'm getting over a bad allergy attack. So, I'm going to go through every single card, and each one I want you to say no. Go ahead and lie to me, okay? So,
You want me to lie to you?
You lie to me. Just say no all the time.
Okay.
Was it the ace of diamonds?
No.
Was it the two of diamonds?
No.
Was it the three of diamonds?
No.
Was it the four of diamonds?
No.
Five of diamonds?
No.
Six of diamonds?
No.
Seven of diamonds?
No.
Eight of diamonds?
No.
Eight of diamonds?
No.
Seven of diamonds?
No.
Six of diamonds?
No.
Okay. Eight of diamonds?
No.
Seven of diamonds?
No.
It was the seven of diamonds, wasn't it? Be honest
Yes.
here. Be honest here.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. And keep in mind, you shuffle this deck so you can see that there's no multiple seven of diamonds in there and everything, right? So, but you know what's really crazy though is the seven of diamonds. I don't actually have a seven of diamonds in here. Look in your pocket,
Which one?
your pants pocket. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that good. I'm not that good. I'm not that good.
I'm like, wait, what? These pockets is tight.
I mean, I am from New Jersey, so I know how to pickpocket. But beside that, no. But look, I wanted you to see. I do have a card in here, but you want to know what's really interesting? It didn't actually travel. It's been in here the entire time. So how you saw the seven of diamonds was beyond me. In fact, I really made it stand out because I had this different back on it. As you can see, it's kind of reversed from the rest of the deck, right? Look at that. The only card in the entire deck, but you know, it's but here's where it's a bit weird, because now I have this one different card in my deck that has a different back than all the others. So all I have to do is just take it, give it a bit of a rub, just like this, and it turns into all the other cards in the deck.
Yo, that's crazy.
Pretty crazy.
That
Again, you
is
gotta check out
crazy.
the YouTube to see what just happened.
Yeah, definitely. Wow.
But you know, one more thing before I want to go. Going off of what I said before.
Mm. I don't know where this is going.
I also mentioned I'm a mentalist. So before I go into any of this, Jarrell, I just want to clarify, you and I have had no prior contact before this
No, not before
podcast,
today,
right?
yeah.
In fact, I think we met, what, like an hour ago?
Yep.
So haven't even known him at all, basically. So what month were you born in?
February.
Okay, cool. But we kind of got through that before, so it's not that amazing anymore. But in February, it's a weird month because you know there could be X amount of
Leap
days.
year.
Yeah. So were you born on a leap year, if you know?
I don't believe so.
No, you don't. Okay. Let's say. What day were you born? What number?
Oh, say it?
Yeah.
The 12th?
Okay, good. So we're making progress here, and you know what?
This just make me feel tingly. Yo.
I'm doing my job, guys. I'm doing my job. You know, just by looking at you, I want to say you're 27.
Huh?
Yeah. So that would mean that you were born in 1990, correct?
Actually, no.
No. Oh, it's
1991.
1991. For some weird reason, I thought it was 2017 right now, so that's why. So,
But
all
still
right.
a good guess on the age,
It was
though.
a pretty good guess, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? One other thing. By the way, this is yours to keep. Don't say I don't give you anything. Do you have your phone with you?
I do.
Can I borrow it for a second? And you have a lock on here?
I do.
Oh, don't unlock. Oh, okay. Or you can unlock it.
We'll
Go
go
ahead.
unlock it. Okay, I won't unlock it then.
Okay. So, by the way, I just wanted to point out the nice cooling out wallpaper we got here. You're
That's
gonna have
what-
to send that to me.
That's what we do, you know.
That's pretty cool. I want to tell everyone. Yeah, guys. You know. If you could, again, kind of before, I'm gonna say a bunch of numbers, kind of like with the cards.
Oh, you about to call out my passcode?
I won't say it. I won't say it. I'll keep it private.
I was like,
Just-
beloved. We just got through this.
So, actually, you know what? Just to
No, go ahead. That's fine.
no, if if you could do me a favor right here on the
Mhm.
calculator, type in your passcode, or keep it away from the camera so that I
I
can't
don't
see
even
it.
know what it is. 'Cause I just changed it not too long ago.
And when you're done, lock the screen. All right, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So, again, I'm going to go through what I just did with
Mhm.
the cards. And I'm going to say a bunch of numbers. Just the first number
Okay.
is the first digit, and you know, just again, keep lying, saying no.
Mhm.
Is the first digit a 0?
No.
Is the first digit a 1?
No.
Is the first digit a 2?
Mm-mm.
3,
Mm-mm.
4,
Mm-mm.
5,
Mm-mm.
6,
No.
7,
No.
8,
No.
9.
No.
Okay, again, I'm going to go from the top. 0,
No.
1,
No.
2,
No.
3.
No.
Okay, it's a 0. And if you could do me a favor and type in the last number.
Holy shit.
You missed the camera. I unlocked your phone.
My girl's a fucking magician. This is the issue. Wow.
And again, just one more clarification. We've had no prior contact, right?
Wow. Huh? I'm about to talk to Apple about their security.
You know, that whole thing that was happening back in 2016, all they needed to do was just recruit me, and I would have been like, yeah, here's the passcode.
Wow.
Apparently.
That's insane, man. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
No problem.
Wow. Please plug away your Instagram and all that stuff. Wow.
All right. Well,
I'm blown away right now. Wow.
I did my job. What can I say?
Oh, okay.
Again, yeah, guys, thanks so much for having me. My Instagram, pretty much all of my social media, even my / on my Facebook, and even my Twitch. Yeah, that's right. You can watch me playing video games
Hey.
when I'm not on stage. You know, performing like I'm born to perform. You know, even when I'm not performing, I'm still performing somewhere. I don't know if playing video games counts as a performance though, but all of them, including the / on my Twitch and Facebook, are Alex Morgan Live. AlexMorganLive. And also, if you guys want to check out my website, it is www.mindofmorgan.com, MINDOFMORGAN.com. And on that website, when you first go there, you will see that picture of me wearing that blue three-piece suit I was telling you guys about before. I am very sorry. I promise I'm not going to be wearing that thing for much longer on stage. You have my word.
Oh, man. This has been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was amazing.
Also, bookings, alexmorganlive@gmail.com, ALEXMO. You guys know it. You heard me before. Anyways,
Yeah.
go ahead, guys. Go
No,
ahead.
that's right. You got to plug away. Make sure you get your business.
Or
Thank
if
you for
just wanna
taking
shoot
the
me an
trip.
email.
But yeah, man, thank you for coming out here.
Yeah,
I know it's
enlightening
pretty
us
late
on
on a
your craft.
Wednesday night. Yeah, thank you, man.
No problem.
Um,
Any excuse to get out of Jersey, you know.
Valid. But yeah, as always, guys, make sure you guys rate, share, subscribe. Check out the YouTube page if you want to see
Especially
these.
this
you want to
one.
see these ones.
Yeah.
The boy unlocked my passcode. Okay, he went through my phone. Nah, I'm joking, but insane card trick. He guessed my birthday. He guessed my passcode on my phone. I wouldn't lie to you guys. Okay, go to the YouTube page, check that out. Make sure you go to iTunes and rate us. Make sure you check us out on Spotify. What else we on?
Stitcher,
Google
Play,
Yeah, I always forget those ones. SoundCloud,
Spotify,
everywhere. We're everywhere. Just go listen. Make sure you share the podcast with everyone. Check out Alex Morgan's IG and all of his stuff because this boy is talented.
Please do.
All right, guys. Until next time, it's cooling out.
Stay cool.
You cool, I'm cool. You cool, I'm cool. You cool, I'm cool. We coolin' out. You cool, I'm cool. You cool, I'm cool. You cool, I'm cool. We coolin' out.